Well, hello there, Beaver Creek Church family and friends. As you can see, I got with me our special guest, Dr. Stan Hudson. And you spent quite some time on the road coming here.
2,000 miles is a bit of a drive.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, you and your dear wife, have you logged your miles? Like for all of these trips, do you usually drive across the country?
Usually drive when we go because I always take fossils and rocks and things that are kind of hefty, hard to take on an airplane flight. So yeah, we tend to drive. So this is not unusual in that, although it's a bit longer than we usually do.
If you haven't been out to see or to touch any of these fossils or these artifacts, you do want to come out and get a chance to see that.
Absolutely.
It's been a blessing.
Good.
And I can tell you turn it up a notch for each presentation so far. And I'm looking forward to this evening, which is going to be what is the origin of dinosaurs?
Where do they come from?
Yeah.
What can we learn from this whole subject?
Yeah.
And there's a lot that bears interesting things on the subject of origins, and including, surprisingly, things that help creationists. So with their positions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you started out in your very early years with an interest in geology, right? And then the Lord turned you into theology.
Yes.
But then swung you back around.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, I was enamored by Hollywood images of scientists as being the great help of mankind. So anyway, there was that. Plus, my dad took me rock hounding, and I started to love rocks. And so rocks means geology. So I wanted to be a geologist, and I enrolled at the University of California in Riverside, way back in the day, as my son would put it. So anyway, I was in that program when I started to have some doubts about evolution and so on, and it struck me that I would have to face opposition for some of the questions I was raising. And I'm not a great fighter. I don't love conflict, probably because my mom and dad divorced, and the whole subject of conflict is not fun. So anyway, dropped out of the program, not sure what I was going to do with life. And then God came in a very gracious way into my life and made himself known. And shortly thereafter, pulled me aside, so to speak, and said, Stan, I don't want you to be a scientist. I want you to be a pastor. Okay. So I went to La Sierra. I showed up at their door a couple days before school started, and I said, I'd like to go to school here. I don't have any money. Is that a problem? Anyway, enrolled. I had all the other requisites. All I had was 2 years of solid religion, and I loved it. I just loved it. So, pastor. But later in my ministry, I began to realize in the First Angel's message the importance of Sabbath and creation, and it kind of got me, it kind of opened the door for me to return to those science roots and be able to put up programs and so on. I've had a series on 3ABN and a series on Hope Channel, and I have a radio program on Live Talk Radio with a friend of mine. So we've been active in it, and I've been full-time doing this about 9 years now.
Okay. Wow. That's beautiful. You know, the Lord always has a way of doing a switcheroo. You know,
he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. His ways are not our ways. He takes you down one path, or we start down a particular path, and he doesn't negate that at all, but he uses that, but brings us back to the path that he would like us to go.
Yes.
And
equips us earlier in life. We don't even realize it until later that
exactly.
Experience
It's so amazing.
Provides for what we do next. Yeah.
So it's been 45 years, coming up 46, I believe.
46.
Man.
Yes, I know, right?
How does one do that. I mean, you know,
He's talking about marriage and my wife Cindy, 46 years almost.
I mean, I've seen it in my own parents, and you know, I got a few years under my belt, but it's always refreshing and beautiful to see it. You know, so
yes.
Tell us how you met.
Oh my goodness. Well, way back in the day, I don't know if you ever heard of Adventist Contact, but that was a computer dating thing. Adventist computer dating thing. One of my best.
You mean from way back?
Oh, in the 70s, man.
That stuff was around from that time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
See, I'm educating you. So anyway, late 70s, it was about 78. And anyway, one of my best friends was going to Andrews, was going to start going to Andrews, met a girl on Adventist Contact that was at Andrews, and when he called back there, he would sometimes get her roommate. Well, her roommate was Cindy, and he told me, you should contact Cindy, and you're going back to Andrews and working on your master's, so why not do that? And we did, and it worked.
There you go.
So I met her at Andrews, and that was, met her about 47 years ago, and been married almost 46.
So kids, grandkids?
We got 2 kids, a boy and a girl, replacements for us. Anyway, the boy has married and produced a grandchild for us.
All right.
And we're excited about that, to see her, hopefully even this trip. And my daughter married a nice guy in Moscow, Idaho, and they have been married now for a few years, and no grandkids on that side.
I heard how you pronounced that word a while ago.
Moscow.
Yeah. So I you know, traveling across the country, you see these names of places that, you know, we know, and we say, oh, we're in Moscow, or like, and those who live there is like, no, it's not Moscow here. It's
Moscow is in Russia.
Moscow is in Russia.
Moscow is in Idaho.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's Moscow. I learned that the first day on the job there, pastoring.
Yeah.
So and before that, we lived in Spokane, which is spelled Spokane, but it's Spokane. So got to get these pronunciations right.
Yeah. I had a professor one time. We went out to Yosemite, and it's like he was from South Africa, so he had this British accent.
Yes.
Or should I say this English twang? He says, "It's Yosemite.
Yosemite.
It's Yosemite. How'd you get Yosemite out of Yosemite?" So
yeah, that's exactly it.
So
same thing.
We are in this series, Origin series, and it's 4 parts for us. We've done the origin of the debate. Last night was the origin of oceans. Tonight,
biblical flood. Yep.
And tonight is what's the origin of dinosaurs. Tomorrow morning, does worship really matter to God?
That's worship. Yeah.
And then we're getting into our Q&A. I know that the series itself is probably about 6 parts. So are you going to whet our appetites a little bit? Is there any astronomy or anything like that?
Maybe we can talk astronomy, but we'll also talk a little bit about what is the most difficult thing for creationists, and that's the age of the earth. And we'll talk about decay. Doesn't that sound like fun?
All right.
And we talk about decay and some of the proofs that we can use when we counter some of the evolution stuff we hear. So yeah, I think so. We'll have fun. And like I say, I'll handle any question that wants to be shot toward me. So
all right.
We'll give it a go.
So don't forget, tomorrow, regular church time at about 10:45, we'll come together for the service. This evening is at 6:30, as we have been for the last couple of evenings, and then tomorrow evening it'll also be at 6:30, and that'll be a Q&A. It's open Pandora's box, if you please, the Pandora's box of evolution and creation. And
no problem.
By the grace of God, we'll see how He leads. It's so good to have you here. And Cindy, his dear wife, is a wonderful person. She's also with him, and you get to meet her, chat a little bit with her if you come on out. So looking forward to seeing you. And here are a couple of other things going on behind the scenes. It's not the major full update as we usually do for the building project, but here are a few things that you probably haven't seen. in to church this Sabbath, actually tonight, and for Sabbath, you're gonna notice things are a little bit different. All right, so you can come on in, and this part is probably mainstream right now. You're used to seeing things that are already here. Of course, you'll see where they are prepping the ground for the pole barn. But when you come around, you're gonna notice that there are some big holes and caution tape. Now, the caution tape isn't there right now. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go left, and you're gonna go around to the left of these holes. That's for the pillars for the carport, and take this new path out the church. All right. So it's all a part of the dynamics of expanding and being flexible, and learning to adapt and to adopt as we grow and we expand. All right. God bless you. So until I see you at church, God bless you, and you have a wonderful day. Happy Sabbath when it comes. Bye-bye.